In this video, I'm going to talk about Grenfell. Now, this was a very difficult video, I think, and I've been stuck in two minds. I've been thinking, should I do it? Shouldn't I do it? Should I mention it? And I know a lot of people have concerns about what's happened there, and they feel they can't talk about it, which is exactly how I felt. And I've been throwing myself back and forward. The reason for that, I'm a father of three. I watched that fire. I watched as people who were stuck in poverty died and burned to death because they were viewed a different way, and the same levels of risk didn't go into their lives as would have gone into more wealthy people. That's a reality I see in it. I also see a lot of problems in it. I also see from a human side and from a father as children burned, as children died. So that's why saying anything negative about this is not what people want to do. I didn't really want to do it, so I'm stuck on should I do this, shouldn't I do this? But I think there's a lot of issues there that have been ignored. I think there's a lot of problems that occur we will see that come out of Grenfell. In July, just to go into it, in July, police announced they'd recovered 87 human remains from the rubble of Grenfell. That death toll will stay around 80 because we just don't know how many people were in that building. We'll probably never know. We do know though, and this is what we need to be able to speak about, that it was packed full of illegal immigrants. They were subletting apartments and cramming in as many people as possible. It's a horrible tragedy, yes, but we have to be able to talk about these issues. It's opened up a hell of a lot of questions. For instance, why are the politicians offering illegal immigrants who escaped the Tower amnesty? It was reported in July that Brandon Lewis, the immigration minister, he offered the full support from our already buckling welfare system to any illegal immigrant who helped with their inquiries. Diane Abbott even said the amnesty measures don't go far enough. She probably wants to give them all a yacht, for God's sake. I'm sorry, but no. Illegal immigrants are exactly that. They're illegal. God knows how many were in that tower. How have the authorities been ignoring this for so long? Why, when London's so overcrowded, the benefit system's buckling, housing's so difficult to find in our capital city, why are we tolerating illegal immigrants squatting? And here's another one. Why is it that residents of Grenfell deserve to be given luxurious Kensington properties in compensation? Listen, it's a tragedy, it's an accident, and I'm not saying we shouldn't work to help those people find new homes, but to hand over properties that people would pay hundreds of thousands, if not millions for, to people receiving welfare, well, that makes no sense at all. Why should people have to work their whole entire life to afford a Kensington home, only for someone who's been in the country 5 minutes to be moved in next door for free? I'm sorry, I'm not having it, and neither should you. The main question though, the one we have to ask, just how many people died in that tower block? I hate to have to talk about something so sensitive, but it's important to consider the facts. Grenfell housed up to 600 people. The fire also started in the middle of the night. Most people were at home, of course. 80 something dead, 255 evacuated. You do the maths. It's a pretty big gap. The police and politicians don't want us to know about that gap because they'd have to admit the illegal immigration problem is much bigger than they want you to think it is. There are reports that as many as 42 bodies were found in just one apartment. In 2015, it was reported that there were as many as 1.1 million illegal immigrants in the UK. I want you to stop and think about the effect that has on our housing, effect it has on the NHS, effect it has on everything. If those 1.1 million people were not in the UK, they're here illegally, well, how much of a drain is that on our society? The Telegraph also reported that 250,000 people drop off the radar and end up becoming illegal immigrants every year in Britain. The whole story is the gift that keeps on giving, for the media at least. Residents and immigrant families in London are regularly seen shouting and screaming at local officials. The media turn up to film it. Useless local politicians do very little, and the cycle continues and continues. But why is this even on the news still? Well, I think we know the answer to that, don't we? It's a convenient way of distracting the masses. Every day we hear about Grenfell. Meanwhile, Islamic attacks are still occurring all over Europe every day. FGM is happening across our country every day. Thousands of migrants are pouring into our continent every day. We're more interested in spending our time talking about Grenfell. Remember the Westminster Bridge attack? How long did it take the media to shut up about that? 2, 3 days? London Bridge attack? Manchester attack? I've never seen the coverage on the same scale as Grenfell for any of these tragedies, which makes you think, doesn't it? The media don't care about you. They don't want you to know the truth. They want to distract you and avoid the topics that put their careers in jeopardy. They must wince every time there's a terrorist attack in Europe. Not because they're terrified about how unsafe our continent has become, but because they'll have to tiptoe around the I and M word again and risk getting in trouble with their progressive, politically correct bosses. If we're going to keep on talking about Grenfell, the least I ask is for some fairness. Let's talk about the victims in the Manchester and London attacks, whose lives have been changed forever. The young girls who have been permanently damaged in the name of a barbaric religion and culture that does not belong here. Let's talk about the young girls who are still being abused and raped by Pakistani men all across our country. And I want to hear some honesty about the London housing crisis and the sheer amount of illegal immigrants in our cities. If you like that video and you want to see more, please subscribe to The Rebel.